Hello everyone, and welcome back to this corner of new Eridu. Patch 2.1 is turning out to be very heavy on Anomaly Agents. Let's use this opportunity to revise everything we know about Anomaly playstyle, or maybe even learn something new together. At the moment there are 5 main attributes in ZZZ: Physical, Ice, Fire, Electric, and Ether. When agents of these attributes deal damage, they build Anomaly, which is displayed by the meter to the right of the enemy's health bar. When the meter is full, it resets, triggering attribute Anomaly. Physical and Ice anomalies deal damage in one big hit, while Fire, Electric, and Ether deal damage over time. Each attribute anomaly has a name and special effect attached to it. Physical anomaly is called Assault, and in addition to big damage, it interrupts the enemy and applies flinch effect. While under flinch effect, enemies take extra days for the next 10 seconds. Ice anomaly triggers Freeze and Frostbite. Freeze, as the name suggests, freezes the enemy for a brief period, while Frostbite increases crit damage taken by the enemy by 10% for the next 10 seconds. After Freeze ends, it triggers Shatter, dealing one big instance of damage. If activated during the stun, Freeze pauses stun meter until Shatter occurs. You can trigger Shatter early by landing an attack, but not all attacks are created equal. For example, Miyabi's enhanced basic won't shatter an enemy immediately, while a basic attack would. Each agent will have a different feel when it comes to shattering, so, if needed, try out skills in free practice to get a hang of it. Filling up Anomaly meter with Fire attribute triggers Burn. For the next 10 seconds, an enemy will take 2 ticks of fire damage every second. Enemies weak to fire will also get interrupted upon entering Burn status. Electric and Ether anomalies apply Shock and Corruption respectively. Upon getting shocked, enemies weak to Electric will get interrupted. Likewise with enemies weak to Ether upon getting corrupted. For the next 10 seconds, Shock causes enemies to take electric damage when attacked. Same with Corruption dealing Ether damage. Note that Burn ticks on its own, while Shock and Corruption require you to keep attacking the enemy. When you apply an anomaly on an enemy who is already suffering with a different anomaly attribute, you trigger a special effect called Disorder. It deals extra damage and clears previous anomaly, replacing it with an applied one. Extra damage is a percentage of the damage of the anomaly that has been overridden, decreasing with the time passed since that anomaly has been applied. It is especially interesting for dot anomalies, since overriding them allows to condense all future small ticks of damage into one big hit. Letting too much time pass since the dot anomaly has been applied reduces the damage significantly, whereas disorders from nuke anomalies such as Shatter and Assault are less prone to damage loss. Unlike anomalies, Disorder on its own deals days to the enemy. Frost, Miyabi's special Ice attribute, and Auric Ink, Isioan's version of Corruption, in terms of effect on enemies pretty much the same as their basic types. It is important to note that their attributes have their own anomaly meter, and can trigger disorders with all other anomalies, including base, Ice, and Corruption. If you have 2 agents of the same attribute in the team, anomaly damage will be split, based on agent's contribution to anomaly gauge. Using Bull to help out in anomaly application is fine, since their buildup doesn't dilute the damage. Agents build up anomalies through the majority of their skills, however not through all. Take Grace for example. Her first 2 basic attacks only deal physical damage, but that doesn't mean that she builds physical anomaly. She doesn't. Agents only build up anomaly of their own attribute, and in case of Grace it's Electric. When it comes to agents with physical attacks in the stream like Grace, you would often want to find ways to skip directly into attacks that carry the attribute, by using dodges, quick assists, X specials, and so on. Skill levels don't affect neither anomaly build-up rate nor anomaly damage. You would still want to upgrade them as they do deal direct damage, but most of the time you can get anomaly agents to battle ready state with just their agent level and core, and upgrade skill levels later, depending on which ones you use the most often in particular agent's kit. All agents are capable of building and triggering attribute anomalies, but anomaly agents are the most adept at it by having better anomaly application rates in their skills. So, if the anomaly playstyle is all about filling up attribute meters, what are the quirks that make every limited anomaly agent unique? Jane Doe allows entire team's assault to crit with 150% fixed crit damage at her M0. Burnice is capable of accumulating fire anomaly buildup and thus triggering burn while off field. Yanagi triggers Polarity Disorders on her X Special and Ultimate. Polarity Disorders deal a percentage of what a normal disorder would do if current anomaly were to be overridden. At the same time, they don't remove the effects of current anomaly, allowing you to also trigger normal disorders from the same anomaly attribute. Miyabi, outside of already discussed special attribute, has unique scaling based on crit. It gets converted to Frost Anomaly buildup. That allows her to be built like an attacker, with strong on-field damage from all of her skills. Vivian deals extra damage in terms of Ablooms, percentage of original anomaly, and deals ether damage with her off-field attacks, making it possible to trigger corruption. Allies can trigger Polarized Assault regardless of current physical anomaly buildup, and will deal additional damage when any agent in the team inflicts assault on the enemy. With an exception of Miyabi, most important stats for Anomaly Agents are Attack, Anomaly Mastery, and Anomaly Proficiency. Base damage for each anomaly is a percentage of agent's attack. Anomaly Proficiency is applied on top of it, and converts directly as a percentage multiplier. Anomaly Mastery gives a bonus to how fast your agents build up anomaly meter. When choosing drive disks with the best substats, focus on Anomaly Proficiency first, then Attack percent and Flat Attack, with Flat Pen being the fourth useful role. For Disk 4, pick Anomaly Proficiency as the main stat. As for Disk 5, it might seem like attribute damage percent is the only choice, but actually there are different opinions depending on the agent. The general consensus is that the more sources of a specific stat you have, the lower priority it becomes for Disk 5. With an exception of pen ratio, which allows your agent to ignore enemy's defense, and thus the closer you can get it to 100%, the closer you'll get to fully ignoring enemy's defense. Teammates do play a role in the choice for Disk 5 main stat. For example, adding Astra Yao to the team gives your agents a lot of attack, which pushes you into picking up either attribute damage percent or pen ratio, even if the latter is the only source of it. Ignoring 24% of enemy defense is still valuable in case of stat or situation. On the opposite side, if an agent gets a lot of attribute damage percent from their kit and W engine, going for attack percent would be a better option for your overall damage. Let's take a closer look at each anomaly agent individually. Jane Doe prefers to have 4-piece fun metal disc set. For a 2-piece, a lot of players nowadays prefer Phaeton's Melody. However, if farming it seems battery inefficient for your account, then either Freedom Blues or Chaos Jazz is still a reasonable choice. If you are using Weapon Gemini on your Jane, then Fun Metal set becomes the only source of physical damage, and 10% isn't a lot, so picking it as a main stat for Disk 5 is a superior option. Jane's signature W engine adds up to 36% of physical damage bonus, and that allows Disk 5 with attack percent to slightly pull ahead in testing. I want to point out that Jane, unlike many other anomaly agents, has non-linear scaling with her attack and anomaly proficiency. However, such micro-optimizations sound a little bit too detailed for this video. So if you're interested in more in-depth balancing for Jane's stats, I'll leave a card at the top right corner leading to my video about Jane where you can find more information about that. Moving on to Burnice, she is usually built with 4-piece Chaos Jazz. With her off-field application, she usually doesn't struggle with applying Anomaly, so going for 2-piece Faithful Melody is not recommended. Instead, pick Inferno Metal as she doesn't have fire damage bonuses, neither from her kit nor from her W engine. If farming Inferno Metal disc set sounds like too much commitment, then any pair of these options will do. Yanagi is most often played in disorder teams swapping in and out, so Chaos Jazz 4-piece set fits her perfectly. For 2-piece, choose Freedom Blues or Thunder Metal. If you intend to play Yanagi in mono-lector teams, well you can, and in those teams, 4-piece Thunder Metal attack bonus has full uptime. Yanagi has a little bit of pen ratio directly in her kit, so playing her alongside Rina, or even going further with Fusion Compiler for W engine, is a decent option. If you are playing Yanagi with Rina in the team, then for 2-piece, pick Puffer Electro. For the same reason of already having a bit of pen ratio, it is often a great option for Disc 5 main stat, regardless of chosen playstyle. But electric damage percent is generally slightly better in teams without Rina. As I mentioned already, Miyabi has unique scaling and should be built like an attack agent. Miyabi's core pushes you to reach 80% crit rate, and her signature is currently the only Anomaly W engine with crit rate as main stat. Pick Branch and Blade Son for 4-piece set. Its 12% bonus to crit rate is pretty reliable, but keep in mind that it doesn't show on the stat page, so when choosing discs, you should aim for 86% crit rate from rolls. 2-piece disc set's goal is to allow you to reach that number as close as possible. For that reason, pick Woodpecker Electro if you are missing Miyabi's signature, or rolls on substats just don't want to go into the crit rate. If you are reaching her required crit rate, between Polar Metal and Astral Voice / Hormone Punk, I've personally found better success with attack percent bonus options. However, the difference is small enough to opt for choosing discs based on their substats instead. Disc 5 with ice damage percent pulls ahead regardless of the 2-piece choice. If you have M2 or higher, Miyabi gets unconditional 15% crit rate, which allows you to lean heavily into crit damage percent substats and use attack percent disc 4. It works because part of Miyabi's damage comes from Frostburn, which doesn't depend on crit damage at all and fully scales with Miyabi's attack. It's the best in sterile conditions of free training, while for modes like Deadly Assault you should check the bonuses. Sometimes you are granted a lot of extra attack, making crit damage percent a better choice. Or if you are playing Miyabi with Lycan on King of the Summon disc set, then crit damage percent might become oversaturated, and you should go for attack instead. Vivian has specifically tailored to her disc set, Fate's Melody, and for 2-piece, pick either Chaos Jazz or Freedom Blues. Disc 5 doesn't matter much for Vivian. Her Obloom damage scales solely with her Anomaly Proficiency, so either damage percent or attack percent are both fine. Just pick the one with the most rolls going into Anomaly Proficiency. Since Alice is a new agent, it's hard to fully evaluate her at the moment, but community has been preparing to run her with 4-piece Fun Metal disc set and 2-piece Fate's Melody, with 5th disc shifting between physical damage percent, attack percent and pen ratio in the same manner as Jane. While discussing builds, I haven't mentioned Freedom Blues 4-piece set. Its bonus definitely helps to build Anomaly faster, but all agents have strong options with other 4-piece sets. Nevertheless, Freedom Blues is still a valuable set to farm, for example for a support agent of the same attribute as one of your anomalies, as the set's bonus is activated for all agents of the same attribute as an equipper. Which does bring us to Anomaly Mastery stat. There aren't many ways to increase it. It's not possible to get it as a substat on a drive disk, so usually it is picked as a main stat for Disc 6. But some agents naturally have pretty good anomaly buildup, and sometimes are played with matching supports on Freedom Blues. In both of these cases, separately or at once, you can opt for attack percent Disc 6. While all Anomaly agents show the best damage with obviously their signatures, there is actually a universal great free-to-play option, Weeping Gemini. Why not Rainforest, you might ask? While Rainforest has an upside of having Anomaly Proficiency as an advanced stat, its attack percent bonus lasts for a very short time. Compare that to Weeping Gemini, whose effect gives your agent up to 184 Anomaly Proficiency. Not only that's already more than advanced stat on Rainforest Gourmet, it also lasts until the enemy is defeated or recovers from stun. It's a strong W engine, to the point where Electro Lip Gloss, Battle Pass option, on some agents loses to Weeping Gemini. If you did get Electro Lip Gloss, it's a strong option for Jane at higher refinements, or Burnice, being about 8% better even at R1, compared to fully overclocked Weeping Gemini. What else affects anomaly damage and buildup besides agent stats? Enemies' weaknesses and resistances, as well as various buffs and debuffs, can significantly affect the performance of anomaly agents. It's always best to choose an agent of an attribute that enemy is weak to, as not only resistances decrease anomalies damage, they also proportionally reduce anomalies build-up rate. Agent-based buffs that show up under your agent's health bar at the top left corner are applied during the process of anomaly build-up. Take Lucy's attack buff for example. It needs to stay active during the build-up to fully affect anomaly attribute damage. Some buffs like Astral Voice don't show up on the interface, making them harder to track. But the rule of thumb is that disk set buffs and agent skills buffs are agent side, and you should reapply them at expiration to get full benefits. Enemy debuffs that show up under enemy's health bar if you are fighting a boss are enemy side, and are applied at the moment of triggering anomaly attribute. Very notable example of such debuff is Nicole's defense shred. Keeping up her field during anomaly buildup doesn't affect the damage, so it can be generated right before triggering anomaly attribute for full reduction benefits. Same with stun damage multiplier. It is applied at the time of triggering an anomaly. So if you are getting close to stunning an enemy, save the attribute anomaly until the enemy is stunned to take advantage of extra damage. Let's finish this guide by discussing typical playstyles of anomaly-focused teams. Some anomaly agents are capable of being hypercarried, with two other agents in the team dedicated to supporting them. Jane Doe and Alice are the most self-sufficient anomalies to excel at this task, and both being physical attributes capable of single big nukes certainly helps for hypercarry playstyle to feel good. Pair them with any combination of Cess, Caesar, Lucy, Astra, Nicole, Rina, or new agent in 2.1 Yuzuha, and reapply their buffs or debuffs as needed. Miyabi at Mindscapes higher than M2 also becomes fairly self-sufficient, but her best team includes less contested agents such as Lycan and Sokaku, so usually it doesn't hurt your account to keep them together. This team is technically called Mono Ice, but as you remember, Miyabi's Frost can trigger disorders with base Ice, which is great for generating stacks for Miyabi's enhanced basics and keeping an enemy frozen in stun for higher damage multipliers. True mono-element teams with anomalies do work, although not all current anomaly agents are recommended for this playstyle. Burnice is a decent addition for Soldier 11 Lucy team, helping to keep Inferno Metal set bonus on Soldier 11 active. But in this team, you are on field in Soldier 11, so it can't really be called an anomaly-focused team anymore. Yanagi can be played as a non-fielder with other electric agents, Rina, Trigger, or Cess. It's a decent team that allows you to fully focus on Yanagi as a main damage dealer. With her high number of invincibility frames, she is certainly an attractive option for a non-fielder, although there are definitely better team comps for her that utilize disorders. So moving on to disorder playstyle. You would want to pick your on-field anomaly. Yanagi, Jane Doe, Alice, and Miyabi would work great. And for the second anomaly, choose an agent with an off-field playstyle, Vivian or Burnice. Yanagi can also work as a quick swap anomaly for less field-hungry agents such as Miyabi and possibly Alice. In teams focusing on disorders, you usually build anomaly meter with one agent without triggering an anomaly attribute, then swap to the second agent, build their anomaly, and then swap back, triggering first anomaly into the second for maximum disorder damage, and keep swapping back and forth throughout the fight. Anomaly agents, with an exception for Vivian and Burnice, don't deal any damage while off-field, so their build-up can be preserved if you swap from them before the hit that would normally trigger an anomaly. If you are using a bamboo to help out with anomaly build-up, don't worry, they can't trigger an anomaly just by themselves. Playing physical or ice anomaly helps with this playstyle, as their anomalies have big base damage and thus less noticeable drop in disorder damage with time passing. Why not triple anomaly, you might ask? The thing is, triggering an anomaly starts a 3-second cooldown on applying the same anomaly again. Triggering a disorder starts this cooldown not only for anomalies involved in it, but for all attribute anomalies. In that case, third agent's build-up would be wasted, so an agent with full team supportive capabilities such as Astra, Nicole, Lucy, Trigger, or Yuzuha is a better choice of teammate for disorder playstyle. To sum it up, Anomaly playstyle has an upside of offering high damage floor that is easy to reach with just agent levels and core, alongside discs with right main stats. Most anomaly agents are cheaper and simpler to build without requiring perfect stat balance, and less focus on skills to deal damage. Compared to attack agents, anomalies are less dependent on your input, but some players find it unsatisfying, feeling like the agents are playing themselves. Do you prefer anomaly playstyle or more classic DPS stunner support teams? Please leave your answer down in the comments. I hope that this video was helpful and you've learned some new information. If you did, please leave me a like, consider subscribing, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!